Have you checked out the latest jaw-dropping footage that's got the whole world buzzing? There's this video making rounds from Jerusalem, and it's capturing this intense light show right over the Dome of the Rock. People are freaking out, wondering if it's a divine sign. Is it Jesus returning, or the Archangel Michael himself? And hold on to your seats, because it gets even wilder. Some folks claim they're seeing a whole squad of angels up there. This video's got everyone shook, wondering what in the world's going on. So, strap in, because we're about to dive headfirst into this divine mystery. Not in some other big cities like San Francisco, LA, or Moscow, but right there in Jerusalem. It's kind of a big deal because it hints that Jerusalem's going to be a real hotspot in the grand scheme of things, especially when we talk about the end times. Even when stuff seems pretty bleak, God's sending hope vibes straight to Israel. And guess who's on duty? Yep, Archangel Michael. He's like Israel's ultimate wingman, always there to protect and guide them, God's right-hand celestial being. And this isn't just some old tale. Even nowadays, God's showing up to let Israel know he's got their back, especially when they're facing tough times. These little signs are like power-ups for Israel, giving them strength even when the going gets rough. So, are you as pumped as I am to dig into this video and learn more about God's epic love for Israel? Before we dive into these shocking details, here's one thing you need to know first off. Israel's got more history packed into it than the Grimm's ancient tales. Israel has had incredible resilience throughout history. Despite more than 2,500 years of ups and downs, they've managed to keep their heads above water. From ancient empires like Babylon to modern tyrants like Hitler, there have been plenty of folks trying to wipe them off the map. But guess what? Every single plan has fallen flat. Plus, while other nations have come and gone, Israel's still standing strong. It's like they've got some divine shield protecting them. Fast forward to recent times, and God's been doing some serious nation restoring. In just a century, Israel's Jewish population has skyrocketed thanks to a ton of folks moving in. But it's not all smooth sailing. Israel's right in the thick of some major challenges. But here's the kicker. God's never hit the eject button on his promised land. Nope, he's still got Israel's back, blessing them as his chosen crew and keeping an eye on them. The appearance of Michael, the chief prince, or the host of angels in the sky, has ignited a deep sense of wonder and anticipation amid the turmoil. What significance does this remarkable visitation hold? And why has Jerusalem been specifically chosen for this celestial display over other cities around the world? Well, part of it boils down to geography. Located at the crossroads of continents and cultures, Israel has always been a melting pot of ideas, beliefs, and spiritual practices. It's where East meets West, where ancient traditions mingle with modern interpretations, creating a fertile ground for supernatural encounters. And that makes Jerusalem's got this incredible vibe, you know? With its complex history and all the different religions mixing it up. It's like a spiritual hotspot, drawing folks from every corner of the globe. And smack dab in the middle of all this sacredness, we've got the Archangel Michael stealing the show, captivating folks worldwide, and stirring up a whole new level of holy vibes. It's like the epicenter of it all, right in the middle of the Middle East mess. So when the Archangel decides to show up here, it's like the universe hitting the reset button on the global stage. According to the Christian playbook, Israel's like God's favorite kid, and Michael's their guardian angel, sworn to protect and serve. He's no ordinary angel. He's like God's right-hand man, ready to throw down against anything evil. And his name? It's like a challenge to the universe, asking, who's as awesome as God? Spoiler alert, no one. So, when Michael steps onto the scene, you know things are about to get real. People who've witnessed this celestial show ain't shy about sharing their stories. It's like they can't wait to spill the beans on what they saw up there in the Jerusalem skies. And let me tell you, their accounts? They're like something out of a blockbuster movie, giving us a peek into some seriously mind-blowing stuff. Picture this, a radiant figure, glowing like a million stars, floating above Jerusalem like something out of a dream. That's our guy, Archangel Michael, decked out in these flowing white robes, holding a sword that's practically sparkling, and with eyes that could pierce through your soul, but in a good way. And the vibe? Oh, it's electric, like you can feel the power of the heavens right there in the air. Some even swear they saw this halo thing around him, just to drive home the point that we're dealing with some next-level celestial action here. And get this, it's not like he just popped in for a quick hello and vanished. No way. Archangel Michael's presence hung around, making sure everyone got a good look at the spectacle unfolding above. But here's the real kicker. This ain't just a one-location show. Nope. Reports are flooding in from every corner of Jerusalem, with folks from all walks of life backing up the fact that something seriously divine went down. It's not just folks in the old city who've been catching glimpses of the Archangel's grand entrance. Visitors from all over the globe are joining the club too. And get this, even in places like America, New Zealand, Australia, and Spain, spots not exactly on the biblical map, there have been reports of some pretty out-of-this-world stuff going down. We're talking clouds forming crazy images, some folks even spotting angel-like figures cruising through the skies. And as if that wasn't enough, there have been whispers of eerie trumpet sounds echoing in the air, straight out of the book of Revelation, something that is only related to angels and is described in the book of Revelation. Then, the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared to sound them. Revelation 8:6. Now, what's really striking is that these accounts aren't just coming from one religious group. We're talking folks from all walks of faith here. It's like the whole world's collectively holding its breath, waiting to see what's next. And the fact that so many people are singing the same tune? Well, let's just say it's got everyone's attention. You can't deny it. The fact that these reports are popping up left, right, and center is adding even more fuel to the fire of wonder surrounding the Archangel's big reveal. It's like the universe is screaming, "Pay attention, people! This isn't just some ordinary event. It's a game changer, a history maker. And the ripples it's sending out, they're touching every corner of the globe." Now, let's talk about the big spiritual significance of all this. We're talking major Abrahamic religions here: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all bowing down to the Archangel like he's the real deal. For Jews, he's like their personal bodyguard, a symbol of divine protection and guidance. Christians see him as a beacon of hope, proof that God's still got a hand in the world's affairs. And in Islam, he's known as Jibreel, one of the big guns among angels, delivering God's messages loud and clear. So, when the Archangel Michael decides to make an appearance in Jerusalem, it's like a cosmic thumbs up to all these faiths, saying, "Hey, we're all in this together." Now, let's talk about Michael. He's not your average Joe. He's an archangel, straight from God's celestial squad, sent down to deliver some serious messages to us humans. And guess what? He's also Israel's guardian angel, making sure they're safe and sound. There've even been whispers of celestial happenings above Israeli tanks, hinting at Michael's presence, and reminding everyone that God's still got Israel's six, even in the chaos of modern warfare. Remember back in 1948 when Israel was born into the world stage? Talk about a rough start. 5 Arab armies thought they could swoop in and take over. But Israel's ragtag militias showed them what's what, proving that they're not to be messed with. And that wasn't a one-off. In '67, when the odds were stacked against them, Israel still came out on top. Some might call it geopolitics, but others see the hand of God at play. Listen up, folks, because this is some next-level stuff. There have been sightings, eyewitness accounts, of heavenly visions hovering above Israeli tanks, and we're talking a full-on angel army here. Now picture this. These celestial beings, these angels, they weren't just there for show. Oh no, they had a mission to boost the spirits of Israeli troops and put the fear of the divine into their adversaries. Talk about a game changer, right? It's like God hit the turbo button and stepped in to protect his people when things got real dicey. And let me tell you, it's moments like these that really show the world just how tough and resilient the Israeli folks are, especially when you throw in the crazy mix of politics and power plays in the Middle East. In the realm of ancient texts and sacred scriptures, where the mysteries of the divine unfold, there exists a celestial figure whose presence reverberates through the annals of time: Archangel Michael. With a countenance radiant with strength and purpose, Archangel Michael stands as a beacon of hope and protection, his celestial wings spanning the breadth of heaven itself. But who is this mighty archangel? And what role does he play in the grand tapestry of human history? To understand the significance of Archangel Michael, we must first turn to the pages of the Bible, where his name is etched in the annals of prophecy and divine intervention. In the book of Daniel, we encounter Michael as one of the chief princes, a celestial being tasked with guarding and guiding God's chosen people. Through visions and revelations, Daniel glimpses the spiritual battles waged in the heavenly realms, with Michael at the forefront, leading the charge against the forces of darkness. But Michael's influence extends far beyond the pages of ancient texts. Throughout history, tales of divine intervention and miraculous deliverance bear witness to his presence. From the exodus of the Israelites out of Egypt to the triumphs of the Jewish people in the face of persecution, Michael's hand can be seen guiding the course of human events. In the modern era, amidst the tumult of wars and conflicts, reports emerge of celestial visions above Israeli armored vehicles, a symbol of divine protection amidst the chaos of battle. During pivotal moments in history, such as the Six-Day War of 1967, where Israel faced overwhelming odds, the hand of divine intervention was unmistakable. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, Israel emerged victorious, a testament to Michael's unwavering protection. But Michael's role transcends mere earthly conflicts. In the prophetic visions of the end times, he is foretold to play a crucial role in the final battle against the forces of darkness. As the world teeters on the brink of chaos and upheaval, Michael stands as a stalwart defender of God's people, a beacon of hope in a world fraught with uncertainty. And so, as we journey through the depths of biblical lore and historical accounts, let us marvel at the enduring presence of Archangel Michael. But what is more prominent than the presence and participation in protecting the people of Israel, who in the Bible are described as God's people? That is the coming to earth right in the midst of previously prophesied signs, the signs of Jesus' second coming. Prior to the recent ecological assaults on the Middle East and sightings of our divine beings, we grapple with more than just the usual. While fierce tornadoes and relentless storms are a constant threat, a new trinity of terrors has emerged. Hailstorms erupt with a fury, pummeling crops and shattering windows. The very ground trembles with earthquakes, potentially transforming familiar landscapes in an instant. Furthermore, locust swarms descend, devouring entire fields in a matter of hours. The less conspicuous yet equally formidable dangers posed by disease-carrying insects present a distinct but no less formidable threat to the social fabric. A solemn admonition resounds for those who adhere to the teachings of Jesus. Prepare yourselves. The ancient prophecies foretell that our world will soon encounter a time of great tribulation. Nations will crumble, the seas will seethe, and the sun will blaze with such intensity that it consumes all in its path. Famine, pestilence, and dreadful beasts will inflict anguish and death upon those who engage in wickedness. As we witness these prognostications gradually coming to fruition, we are compelled to ponder, is this a coincidence that the signs of that time? Are these occurrences merely the initial stages of transformation? Or do they signify the ultimate admonitions heralding the impending destruction of a world engulfed in flames and suffering? Perhaps when we combine the three corners of the triangle, including celestial sightings, eerie sounds, and the natural disasters, we will get a triangle which, according to mathematics, is the most solid plane. The plane that we may have known about but never fully understood. The second coming of Christ. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man, they will see him coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Matthew 24:29. The Lord is revealing to us a time in the future, a 7-year period spoken of by the prophet Daniel, 9:27, in the middle of which an event called the abomination of desolation takes place, i.e., a desecration by the Antichrist of a newly built temple in Jerusalem, Israel. The fifth seal in Matthew's Gospel tells of a time of great distress or tribulation that occurs after that desecration takes place. Paul the Apostle states that part of this desecration is when the Antichrist will seat himself in the temple of God, proclaiming himself as God and demanding worship from people all over the world, 2 Thessalonians 2:4. During that period of tribulation, there will be various events taking place. e.g., World War, famine, earthquakes, the two witnesses, and an angel preaching, Revelation 14:6. We will examine those events in greater detail as we study further in this book. Before we read what happens at the opening of the sixth seal, let's look more into the events described as occurring during the Great Tribulation or distress, i.e., the preceding signs about which Jesus warned his disciples on the Mount of Olives. Jesus warned that the situation on earth would look very bleak. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. Matthew 24:22. The Great Tribulation, distress, persecution, and martyrdom of God's people will be cut short of the entire 3.5 years. This Greek word, kolobo, translated into English with the words cut short, means to maim or amputate or cut something short of its expected length. The expected time of 3.5 years after the abomination of desolation will be cut short by the intervention of the Lord, on behalf of those who are in covenant relationship to him, by his sacrificial death on the cross. Then will begin the wrath of God. We don't know how long the church all over the world has to endure this tribulation or persecution before it is cut short by the intervention of the Lord. Jesus went on to warn us about some other things happening during the Great Tribulation. At that time, if anyone says to you, "Look, here is the Messiah," or "There he is," do not believe it. For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. See, I have told you ahead of time. So if anyone tells you, "There he is out in the wilderness," do not go out, or "Here he is in the inner rooms," do not believe it. For as lightning that comes from the east is visible even in the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather. Matthew 24:23-28. The words, "at that time," Vim 23, is the Lord showing us that he was talking chronologically of what happens during that time. We are to guard our hearts against those who will try to deceive us, perhaps by suggesting that Earth was seeded from supernatural beings from another world, something that is often pushing by the New Age prophets. There is an agenda behind the supernatural signs purporting to come from aliens or beings from another universe. These will be demonic spirits seeking to deceive, if it were possible, even the elect of God. Verse 24. The body of Christ, the true church. We must not listen to those who claim to be prophets, telling us that the Lord Jesus has landed in some foreign country. The Lord made it very clear that, when he comes, every eye on the planet will see him. His coming will brighten the darkness of the time, and there will be no doubt who Christ is when he comes. Verse 28 speaks of wherever moral corruption is taking place, there will be vultures, judgment, gathering. Let's now concentrate on the chronological timeline revealed to us as happening at the opening of the sixth seal. For before Christ's coming, there will be cosmic signs. The sixth seal opened. I watched as he opened the sixth seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell to earth, as late figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. The sky receded like a scroll, rolling up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Revelation 6:12-14. Are these cosmic signs a result of elite leaders tampering with the Earth's atmosphere? Or could they be the last warning from God to the unrepentant that the Lord is about to intervene? Could both of these things be true? Cosmic signs begin to happen as the sixth seal is broken, which leads us to ask 3 questions about what causes these cosmic signs to occur in the future. At this point in history, we might not be able to understand these events before they take place, but we can be watchful and have our eyes open and our hearts prepared as we see end-time events unfold, knowing that Jesus warned us that these things would take place. Are the cosmic signs the result of the leaders of the earth reaping what they have sown? In the 1950s and 1960s, the US government tested more and more powerful nuclear weapons deep down under the Earth's surface. Since then, several countries have done likewise. Can new, more powerful tests cause a great earthquake or seismic activity? Then there is the geoengineering of the upper atmosphere as chemicals, chemtrails, are sprayed to reduce global warming. The Lord warned us centuries ago about a time that is now here when the planet itself will be defiled by its people. The earth dries up and withers, the world languishes and withers, the heavens languish with the earth. The earth is defiled by its people. They have disobeyed the laws, violated the statutes, and broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore a curse consumes the earth. Its people must bear their guilt. Isaiah 24:4-6. What could be referred to as the laws and statutes that have been disobeyed by scientists and evil leaders of the earth. It would be wise to consider just one of the projects that our leaders have spent more money on than the whole of the US space program. I'm talking about the Vast Large Hadron Collider, or CERN, as it is often called. It is humanity's largest particle collider, and it is a circular, 17-mile-long, 27-kilometers tunnel, 300 feet under the French-Swiss border, ringed by magnets. The magnets accelerate streams of particles, usually protons, sometimes other things, to enormous speeds, then crash them into one another. Scientists study the splattered remains of those collisions, where unusual particles sometimes emerge, to search for as-yet unseen building blocks of the universe. At the moment of writing, June 2020, the most significant human history project is on break until the spring of 2021. They are looking for the building blocks of life itself, i.e., how creation started and what holds it together. But what they have been finding is strange paranormal phenomena and apparitions. Ghosts and demonic spirits have manifested. Outside the main building is a statue to a Hindu god by the name of Shiva, a dancing god of destruction. In one of the experiments, when they collided these particles together, the observers saw things that made them very scared. Stephen Hawking, the famous theoretical physicist, who was not a Christian, had concerns about this project and made his views known. He warned the hundreds of particle physicists that they were opening Pandora's box, and once it was opened, we will not be able to put back in what comes out. Here's what he wrote in his book. The Higgs potential has the worrisome feature that it might become metastable at energies above 100 BN gigaelectronvolts, GeV. This could mean that the universe could undergo catastrophic vacuum decay, with a bubble of the true vacuum expanding at the speed of light. This could happen at any time, and we wouldn't see it coming. The darkening of the sun and the moon turning blood red could also be the result of air pollution caused by nuclear explosions on Earth's surface during what happens as the second seal is opened. War. Don't forget, just recently on April 8, 2024, the whole world was shocked to witness a total solar eclipse after many decades. One special thing about this year's event is that the moon has a color, as described in scriptures, a blood-red color. What about the stars falling? What did John see when he described the stars falling to Earth? I always wondered how the stars in the sky could fall to the Earth, but John could be seeing showers of asteroids hitting the planet. There is also another theory which, I believe, ties in with what is happening at this point. The prophet Isaiah wrote, "The earth is broken up. The earth is split asunder. The earth is thoroughly shaken. The earth reels like a drunkard. It sways like a hut in the wind. So heavy upon it is the guilt of its rebellion that it falls, never to rise again. In that day the Lord will punish the powers in the heavens above and the kings on the earth below. They will be herded together like prisoners bound in a dungeon. They will be shut up in prison and be punished after many days. The moon will be abashed, the sun ashamed. For the Lord Almighty will reign on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before its elders, gloriously." Isaiah 24:19-23. If a person were standing in the evening at any point on Earth, looking at the horizon, the planet tottering on its axis, V20, would appear as if the stars were falling from the sky. The psalmist says that it is God who steps in, not to cause the cosmic disturbances, but to stop the movement of the Earth on its axis. When the Earth totters, and all its inhabitants, it is I who keep steady its pillars. Psalm 75:3 ESV. What a terrible and awesome experience it will be to stand on Earth while this is happening. This passage in Isaiah chapter 24 leads us to the second possibility as to what causes the cosmic signs. Are these cosmic signs supernatural manifestations taking place in the heavenly realms as Michael the Archangel casts down Satan and evil angelic forces to the earth? In the passage above, verse 21 says that the Lord will punish the powers in the heavens above and the kings on the earth below. This reminds us of the invisible powers of darkness. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Ephesians 6:12. Job 38:7, Revelation 1:20, and Isaiah 14:12 liken angels, both evil and good, as stars. Could this reference to the stars being thrown down in our passage in Revelation be a reference to Satan and his angels being cast down? We cannot be dogmatic about such things, but it is possible, for we are told of such a thing happening in Revelation 12. Let's look at that passage. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven say, "Now have come the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Christ. For the accuser of our brothers, who accuses them before our God day and night, has been hurled down. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to you. He is filled with fury because he knows that his time is short."